All right, okay, we're live. What's happening, everybody?
Okay.
What's that?
Your screen is not live yet. Is that
Yeah, it takes like 4 seconds, so you don't have to worry about it. Like we're just doing our thing here. Everything will just pop up and start doing this
okay?
thing. Yeah. Oh, you don't have a screen at all?
Yeah, in the club,
Mm-hmm.
like in the club, the screen is black. Do I need to
Yeah,
refresh or
yeah. You
something?
need to refresh. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
yeah. What's up? What's up, everybody? Kay's gonna refresh and get himself back in the club. Welcome to episode 3 of the Franky podcast. It's my pleasure to have Kay on from Surgar Club, the owner of the Surgar Club. And yeah, I haven't talked to you in quite a while, Kay, so I'm excited about this. How you doing?
Doing well. It's good to be here again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, the club looks beautiful. Like we've spoken, a few times, whatever, since. But the last time I actually spoke with you in the club like this, it was audio. I think you were my first audio interview, so it was like a long time ago. Like video didn't exist, and we were doing it just audio downstairs in the club behind the DJ booth. So it's cool to see the progress, man. Like with you as a builder too, because I know that you kind of like learned through this process. So like I see differences in the way you use your materials, and I was trying to break in the club earlier, couldn't do it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, time flies, right? I don't think it was so long ago, anyways, when we had a podcast last time. It's a couple of months ago, but
Yeah, in human time it wasn't that bad, but in crypto years it was forever ago.
yeah, it feels forever. That's for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So,
So
how's everything going with the club so far? Like as far as how's it treating you? The experience of having the club in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And kind of going from kind of like an idea to pretty much a business now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still consider it a hobby, right? I mean, it's not something I can say. I'm not really generating consistent revenue or anything like this,
Mm.
but it's definitely becoming, a more serious hobby.
Mm.
It's taking more time in good ways, and
Mm.
at the same time, I realize, I'm the only creator of Sugar Club,
Mm.
and now I'm actually busy with quite a few things besides the actual, virtual club itself. So it's a lot of things to manage, but I'm loving it. I mean, it's such a creative field for me. It's still a learning zone very much.
Mm.
Like you mentioned, the club has been going through a few upgrades since we last spoke. Yeah, so it's been quite interesting to actually stay up to date with the developments of the platform. As you know, I'm not a coder myself, so I just try to stay informed.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it has its challenges. At the same time, I really feel now that the project Sugar Club is kind of starting to really take shape nicely, along with the platform itself. Like the lag is better. All the problems that we had in the beginning of the year,
Yeah. When you'd have
it's much better.
30 people in one space, and then it would start to really bog you down. Now it's not the same. Like we just hit, our people kind of walking up, and it's chill, and no, you don't really have that like that. My computer's burning, guys. Anybody know what's going on? Like in the chat, So
Yeah.
that's less of that, which is good,
Yeah, it runs pretty smooth. I have to say, it's an incredible piece of technology that they've been building. It's If you think about it, it's like on the browser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything runs on the browser. All the code is running on the browser.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. So I think pretty soon I'm going to have to upgrade my computer because, believe it or not, all of this Sugar Club, production has been going on just laptop. My MacBook from 2017 has been running all that stuff. So I do feel at some point I'm going to have to buy a new machine. first of all, to be able to handle more memory on the browser, and also in terms of production, because working with Blender.
Yeah, I already know. I need to, because I upgraded my machine before, so I upgraded my machine to start working in Decentraland, to get into Decentraland. I was like, I had pretty beat up computers, and I was like, okay, I need to get something serious. So I built myself a machine, and it changed my whole perception on everything. And when I already know, like, if you get your hands on a faster machine, and you can be that much more fast building things in Blender for sure, and then you start to have 3 screens and stuff like that. You can have VS Code open over here, Blender in your world, and it makes you faster, definitely.
So I'm guessing you have a good machine, right? I mean, with all the podcasts and everything.
Yeah, I do. I have a pretty strong machine that I built. A friend of mine kind of lent me his old machine, so it's not like the newest stuff, but it was pretty good. It's an i7, but it was older. And then I put a bunch of RAM in it, and then I had Radeon 7 that I had from when I was going to be mining. So I had a pretty nice video card already, so I put that in there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But it's kind of like a hack system, but it works. It definitely works. But maybe in a year or so, maybe this summer, I'll build something like up to date.
It's really becoming a priority for me now. I really feel with the work on Blender and the rendering high graphics, I think I really need to use a better machine, because I cannot afford my laptop to crash with all the.
Hey, things about you probably don't even maybe think about too much, but if you get a better machine, you'll probably be cutting videos for the club instead of like pictures, So you would cut a whole video commercial for the club with music behind it and stuff like that. It would make sense, So it just opened up that kind of resource for you, like, oh, I actually have time to video edit now, also because the machine is so much faster,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, what did you say, sir?
What was that? I said it's crazy all the mediums we use here. You find yourself like at any notice, you kind of just got to pick up a program, and if you don't know it, just learn it, and just start working with it if you need to, whether it's Blender or a video editing program or like coding, whatever it may be. Like if you're working in Decentraland, you're just like, yeah, all right, cool. You got to do something I never did before, or try it out. If I figured this out, I can figure that out at this point. It's kind of like that.
I mean, I realized that actually working with these different platforms and softwares is the cutting edge at the moment in terms of graphic design and so on. Working with those browsers, it's really cutting edge. So when I started, it was very much like, okay, let's just try something. It was very new to the space. But as I go deeper into it, and I realize, okay, I need better tools. So this is definitely on my wish list, probably for Christmas. I think a better machine.
Yeah. I think about it from time to time, because I know that I can even even though mine is like powerful, it's not built. Like I bought a VR headset and it wasn't working correctly with it. It wasn't like not working, but it wasn't working correctly. And it's because I have an older motherboard, so eventually I'll probably do some upgrades on it. But I think about the money. I'm like, all right, I already spent a good amount of money building it. We're good for a little while. So
yeah,
it's cool though, man. How's things otherwise? As far as like I saw, like you gave me that art piece to make for the flyer. And I know you've been making like art pieces. Like as far as the crypto art world, how's it been treating you? And like in general, just like how's it treated you like in life?
Well, first of all, it's a mad space. I mean, it's difficult to keep up. I started with the NFTs and playing around with graphic design, not so long ago actually. Beginning of the year, I became a bit more serious with minting NFTs. I was one of the early users of Rarible before it took off.
Yeah.
And seeing the explosion in the space of digital artists, creators coming into the crypto space, coming from the digital art field, or even like regular painters or people working outside of the digital medium, jumping in, it's fascinating to see. So for me, I'm blown away. I mean, I'm blown away by how fast the space is growing and the quality of the art that's being produced. So I would say at the moment my process is very much like I'm just wowed. I'm doing a lot of research. I decided to take it easy with the minting because I find it more and more important for me to find my voice, my aesthetic, and then when I put something out, I really want it to. I want to be 100% behind it. It takes time for me to kind of like brainstorm and do more research and more training in terms of the output, what I really want to put out as an artist, rather than just minting a lot of stuff, right? So I would say I'm pretty much in a research phase at the moment.
Nice. Now, with crypto for you, like in all this, I guess maybe not just crypto, but NFTs and this whole Decentraland experience for you, was that mainly like driven by your artistic side?
Crypto or
Like no,
NFTs?
more like the NFTs and this whole experience with Surgar Club and all that. Like, was that mostly driven by your artistic side? Like, you just wanted an outlet for your art?
Originally, the club was for the music. I really wanted to have a venue where I could kind of feature the music that I like, the aesthetics that I like. And because of that, I started to fork into the aesthetic side of it more. Sugar Club is becoming a very aesthetic brand, and I try to also kind of spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the brand is, what the aesthetic of Sugar brand means, besides being a virtual club. So, and that goes definitely that ties right into the NFT work.
Right. Yeah.
So how to create art that is relevant for Sugar Club, and some universe, a kind of aesthetic universe that I would like to put out, and that takes time. Actually, it's not something that just right out of the bat can just happen. So Blender is very much a software where I'm researching a lot the different possibilities. Every day there's like something new to learn there. I was spending the last few weeks more training and tutorials on lighting. So lighting schemes, and also special effects within render. Blender.
The lighting, because it doesn't necessarily, what you learn in Blender, you might not translate exactly right into Unity, into Decentraland. Like the lighting things and those things are really tough. If you got them real good, and I know you have to use some sort of like, a lot of times you have to use like brighter lights and like less space. Like, whereas like if you try to like light the wall, it doesn't look good as much as you can do like the edges. But yeah, you definitely you hit it with the club. It really looks good. And it just sometimes those things frustrate me, as like when I'm in there, I'm like, oh, I want to make this look like this, and I'm like, I get in the game and it's like psh, light everywhere, and you're like, all right, that's not it. Like, that didn't work.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see actually the demands of having a model in Decentraland versus actually creating digital art on Blender. Those are two different processes because the specs and the limitations of deploying something on Decentraland is quite specific in terms of the texture sizes, in terms of what kind of lighting and so on. And also in terms of the amount of polygons and whatnot, it's very limited. But so that's why I look at the art process very much as a kind of liberation, because the file size is not limited.
Yeah, you can kind of go in, yeah.
You can go crazy with it as long as your computer can handle it, of course, and you can do things with Blender that you wouldn't be able yet to deploy in Decentraland in terms of different types of lighting effects or special effects and so on. So yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I love Blender. I really encourage everyone because it's such an amazing software, and it's a free software. All the tutorials are online. It takes a while to kind of get the hang of it.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Once you do,
Like the best thing for me, I learned early, even though I would say that I still learning a lot, is the home keys. If you know the home keys, you can keep up with the tutorials. But if you don't know the home keys, then you'll be spending the whole tutorial trying to figure out what home key he's using. So that's the best.
That's the first thing to learn in Blender. Like if you start with Blender, just learn the basic hotkeys,
Mm-hmm.
how to navigate within the interface, because the interface is very intimidating in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go along, you discover more and more and more layers in Blender.
Really, yeah.
There is a layer of video editing which I discovered, a few months ago, which I didn't even know existed in Blender. You can edit videos, and you can also composite. Once you have a render, like let's say you just created an NFT art or like a moving image, then you can move into a compositing workspace where you just do all the color gradients or After Effects and so on. So uh, it's fascinating.
Yeah. And then you can also like animate 2D stuff in Blender as well. Uh, it's pretty expensive, and I've spent time looking up this and that. Like even if I'm not gonna use it, like I was looking up when I made those flowers in my like grass thing over there next to my place. I was looking up how like to make them dance and stuff. Not that I was gonna be able to do it, but I was like, let me check it out. And I spent like 3 hours like looking up this thing I'm never, or not never, but won't use for 3 years or something.
Mean like for to make avatars move, like rigging
No, like
avatars and
making
stuff.
like a 2D thing move, like making like a 2D
Okay.
animation. So I got like the 2D flower in there, or whatever, and it looked cool. I was like, what if I made it go like this? So, oh, that's gonna be a long. Like watch this 3 hour thing or whatever. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not doing all that. But you fall down these rabbit holes.
Oh, definitely. There's many rabbit holes in that process for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like, are you like in any crypto rabbit holes right now? Like, are you in any like kind of deep into another project at all, doing this and that, or are you really just mainly focused on the club and what's going on? Because I know you still got like CV and all that other stuff.
Well, I was super busy with the wearables. As you know, the uni
Yeah.
collection got selected. Voted in the last wearables
That was a wild. That was a
competition.
wild day, man. Like holy, holy moly.
That was intense. Yeah.
So
So
how was
I
that day for
was
you?
I was
Like as far, I wanted to go back to that day real quick. How was that day for you? As far as like dealing with the last second, voting and all the craziness with the mana.
It was insane. It was insane, and I was really surprised at the amount of money where people were, putting into that. I was not expecting such a, high bidding wars basically to get a license. That was incredible. So I got a lot of help, from Vegas district. They really helped me last minute.
Yeah.
HP also vouched for me and so on. So I was lucky to get in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, it was like non-stop. For 1 month, I was just focused on these wearables. It was a new thing for me, trying
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
model wearables and then texture them and export them, and this whole,
So are you like fully versed with the armatures now? Like, are you just like real good with it now?
well, I know a little bit more, but I mean, it's still a challenge, like rigging and animating avatars and
Mm-hmm.
working with the skeletons and moving them, and also the texturing, like really texturing the wearables. That was a big thing for me. I had to really learn the pipeline, how to texture properly.
Mm.
I don't even know if I did it properly. I just did it the best way I could, and I'm happy with the results, actually, how it turned out.
Yeah. Yeah, texturing in for Decentraland in general is tough. I could imagine for wearables that they have to work in every angle it's got to be ridiculous because I know what the problems that I run into with. Sometimes I put a picture up on something and it just doesn't work. It just like does this shading thing that just doesn't work and it drives me crazy. And I can imagine that can't be for wearables. For wearables, they got to work every time.
I think we got a lot of help. We had the previous teams helping us in the private channels, so that we could get up to speed. So I got plenty of help. I learned a lot. It was an amazing, experience for me to learn actually to make them. And I think going forward, I think Sam mentioned that the process is going to be different now. They're going to open it up, right? So it's going to be more easy for creators to jump into the creation process for the wearables.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing.
Me too. I think that as time has gone on here, I think we're just ready now. I think we're ready to kind of make that next step of letting kind of like opening up the wearables to kind of like more creators and seeing how that works out for us. I think our first wearables are what they are. You know what I mean? They are what they are already. They're like their own thing, but I could see some sort of version of more creativity in the wearables could be good. Like Ty Sam about those avatars. You know what I'm saying? And like maybe the avatars are good. Maybe that's a good thing actually. Maybe that should be a pancake.
My impression is that the second generation of wearables, or maybe the third generation of wearables, is going to really be radically different than what we have now. Because people are going to realize, okay, you don't really necessarily need to follow the original shape of the body. You can actually create pretty much anything as long as it's rigged properly on the skeleton. And I think Dapcraft was already, featuring a few wearables where you see that happening, like where the wearable is, it's a meta wearable where the body parts are disappearing and you're starting to see really cool, weird concepts going forward. I think this is what's going to happen probably with new creators coming in and being super creative with what the possibilities of what you can do in terms of the world.
Yeah, true. They look good this time around, and I hope they get better as we go along. Just do ideas, and it's crazy. I watched the Ready Player One for the first time the other day. Like I'd never seen it. I'd seen maybe pieces of it and stuff, but I never watched it all the way through. And I watched it all the way through, and I started realizing like we're gonna need that kind of thing. Be a monster if you want to be a monster. Be a pancake if you want to be a pancake. That kind of thing. It just makes sense. It really, watching that movie is funny because everybody talks about it, and I had listened to like some of the audio book. I had watched some of the movie, but I never watched the whole thing through. I watched the whole thing through the other day, and it just a lot of it brought like a lot of things to light. I came to interact with a couple ideas right after I watched the movie, and I'm like, hey, so I think that there's a lot of room to grow some really cool things with the tools we have. But we got a lot of things coming with the VR and with voice event. Both coming. Voice actually, I was like testing the beta of that recently. Voice sounds good, and that's gonna change things, man. Like it was so, like how do you call it? Different in world to be talking to someone that was over there, and then you just like run over there, and then they can't hear like where you at? Oh, I gotta go get you, whatever. But it really is going to change the game in DCL as far as the communication level. People coming in world just to be in world and not necessarily just to come see us talk or go to a conference or play a game. Like you just go in world because I got to catch up with K real quick and he's in a different country from me and he don't got Xbox Live like I do, so I just call him. It'd be like a phone call.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm also curious how it's going to work out. The voice, I think it's a huge feature which been waiting for a very long time.
Right.
I think it's going to completely change the gameplay, in Decentraland. And like we were talking about it a little bit earlier, in terms of the club, I have to figure out a little bit, in terms of the volumes. So or if we can turn it off completely and code it within the SDK, or it's going to be by default, or so all those things I need to figure out.
Yeah, it seems pretty self-explanatory. Like when you see it, because it's like you can mute everybody, you can mute anybody you want specifically, or you can have just your friends you hear. You can turn your voice completely off in your own settings. So if it's bothering you as a user, if you walk into the club and you're like, oh, there's people talking, you just turn it off. And so it's really not. I don't think it's going to be on anybody coding the scenes. I think that's going to be kind of built into their stuff.
Okay.
And like I was saying, like the
music
wise, like if you have your music in the club turned up all the way, I probably wouldn't be able to hear anybody talk because it'd be much louder than the voice.
Exactly. Maybe in certain games, it's maybe not ideal, or maybe it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You know, you're probably right. There's certain games that, hey, no talk, hey, no sharing secrets over there. You know, like that kind of thing going on. But I guess in any game, if you're building, think about this. So if you're building a game in any sort of like online sense or online setting, like you got to kind of build it in that people are probably going to be able to communicate. So you really can't have a game where there is no talking, there is no thinking, because inherently you're online. It could be messaging someone in some other sort of platform that nobody would know about anyway.
And I guess also in terms of trolls, I mean,
trolls are going to be back.
Probably
we
also
need the trolls. We need our troll. We need to make. I might make a troll village for these trolls. I might actually do that. Troll village, yeah, with a bridge, you know. So it's like, hey guys, come on back, you know. Trolls are good in the sense that like it means that somebody's paying attention, you know. And it means that they think that they can go steal said attention. And then when you have multiple trolls, you got to times that attention by each troll. So you're doing good, you know. Like, you're all right, you know.
I think a troll village is a very good idea, actually.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, just a little something for them, you know, just a little so they can feel comfortable in our world, you know. A futuristic troll village, you know.
What are some of the projects you've been working on yourself? I mean, I know that you have this podcast now, but are you working also on stuff in terms of building something in Decentraland?
Oh man, I've been kind of taking a little break from building, but I was thinking about making some sort of something soon. I don't know, like I was working on a little bit of a game that I wanted to. I spoke to you about actually, right? It's called Game in Progress, and I guess we can talk about it here. It's a good place. So it's like an open kind of source game where you're just like any landowner could own a resource hub, right? And then any like the user would go through and just kind of collect resources, and as they go along, you know, there would be prizes associated with how many resources they get, or maybe you can get an NFT, or maybe you can go have an experience somewhere in Decentraland, and so on and so forth. The resources to get you, you know, and then like let's say you want, like let's say I'm, you know, I got a resource machine to get somebody fertilizer. You know, I was joking with you. You should make sugar water. So like, let's say you had the sugar water machine here, and that would be all part of the game. And the person, it'd be like a tap game where you go like, you know, you can do the transaction or whatever the thing is, get the resource, and then 30 seconds later, an hour later, whatever it may be, you can go and do it again. You know, and then build these things throughout the world. And as you go along, it gets deeper where like the next level would have to use a recipe of different resources to even make their hub. And then when you get a hub, then you have creating a new resource, and then you can kind of get creative with it. And so, I have a Discord server that I was kind of like inviting people to and working on this. So if anybody has any ideas, definitely hit me up. But that was an idea I was kind of working on. So I built like a porta potty, you know, and it was cool. You know, I kind of got it mostly working as far as like getting the coding and the animations in it and stuff. But I lost time, man, because I'm working on the whip. I got involved with the whip crew. So I'm doing their broadcasting to Decentraland. I'm working on trying to get them more activities in Decentraland. So also, again, if anybody wants to work with me on kind of getting the whip more involved with Decentraland, let's definitely do that. And then working with Maddie on a few things as always, you know.
Cool. Yeah, the VIP is amazing also, and they also grew a lot. The community is growing with the VIP.
Yeah.
I was asked by Matthew to do a few pre gigs, like just mixing some music for the VIP Asia for a while. That was really nice. It was a really nice way for me to set up my virtual DJ table in CV. So I was, kind of setting it up there within the gallery spaces. But now they're really doing a cross bridge with Decentraland.
Yeah.
So bring them to Sugar Club, man.
Yeah. Well, they have their build, the NFT 42 build, so we try to run everything out of there. But what I want to start doing with them, and just to answer Crypt Anthony, I can never say your name right now. Just to answer his question though, the whip is where people come and present an idea in this space here, the crypto space or the general crypto space, I guess. They present an idea for 3 minutes. It's like kind of like rapid fire presentations, and then at the end of it, there's like some conversation, and then there's kind of like some after party kind of stuff, and beforehand there's like music, and there's usually giveaways during it, and they've made a really good community and culture around what they're doing. So I was kind of always cool with them. I presented on that one time for last summer, and then so always kind of kept a good relationship with Matthew, and then he brought me in to help out with the Decentraland side.
Yeah, that's great.
Cryptanthropy. I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the spirit, right? I think those community-led projects where actually you actually bring users into an event, and then you engage them, with various topics, such as the NFT space, projects that are really working with crypto and getting a chance to talk about what they do, and then mixing it with music, arts. It just makes sense, and games also. Gaming.
Yeah. They've got they built something in CV called the Met Olympics. It's just like big, like Olympic looking track thing, and it's funny, and it's pretty cool. But I think that we could really if we kind of got it together, we could really build some really wild experiences. I if I had more skills in coding, I would be able to do some real wild stuff. But my focus is never in one direction. And I think that's like a gift and a curse for me, So I find myself in all these good things, but I'm very rarely ever going at one thing directly, So slowly I'm learning to code, and slowly I'm learning to do this, whatever.
I'm in the same boat, I'm really not good at multitasking. I realize just when I focus on something, I really need to focus on that thing. And this is why most of the time, even though there's a lot of things going on in Decentraland or within the Twitterverse or within the NFT space, I'm just zooming in onto Sugar because it's just too much information for me to process all the stuff that's going on around.
That's the other thing, man. That's not even getting into the whole crypto side and chasing moon, man. Just in general, just chasing moon. So it's funny. It's a fun time to be involved with all this, and you want to keep yourself busy. You want to keep doing stuff because the people that are active are gonna be usually gonna find yourself in a good position. So I try to stay active on multiple fronts, but there's so many things that I like here that I'm having so much fun. Honestly, I spend a couple of days. I'm like, I don't want to do much, but kind of watch the markets and I don't know, understand things more there. And then I spend a week or two just going crazy on Blender, or there's a lot of things that I like to do here.
Definitely. And look, I mean, the markets are looking good at the moment. It looks like we're entering into this long, it's the mythical bull run that everybody was talking about, since 2018, right? So it's like maybe now looks like it's happening. I mean, Bitcoin is reaching all-time highs. I mean, just think about it, and it's not even talked so much on the media yet.
That's what's crazy about it. If you want to get into that kind of conversation, that's what's crazy about what's going on right now is that you're not seeing everybody kind of this hysteria. Last time when it was at 21,000, last time when it went up there, I wasn't involved with crypto at all on any level. So when I heard about it, and you already know, like they're telling me I don't even deal with like bank money at the time. I'm like cash, you know. So I'm like, why do I hear about this? So we're at that point right now where people don't even know about it yet. Like the numbers can get real crazy, and I feel in general that the numbers could get real crazy going from here. Just what we've been through, the COVID thing and knocking back the price. You know what I'm saying? Like that was something I thought that might hurt a little harder, and I just jumped right back, and I was like, oh man, you can feel this momentum, you know?
Yes, you feel it because I've been in the space since beginning of 2017.
Mm.
So I've seen, the ride of the previous bull run and then the crash, the whole bear market, and now I kind of see like a turning point. And if you think about it, it's insane. $18,000 for a Bitcoin. Just think about this. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but
But the
actually
thing
it
is,
does.
when you really do that's the thing is, it doesn't make sense to me in 2017. It made sense to me in 2018. Like when I learned about it, and I was like, oh, there's some math involved here. I get it now. Like, I can, I'm not dumb. So when I started doing the research, I'm, like, okay, wait a minute. Like I can do numbers. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. No more coming at all. Okay. You're like, I get that. It's not that difficult, really, it's when you really understand like what makes, the value proposition behind Bitcoin, there's no more coming.
Sure. If you
You know what I
if you
mean?
start doing your research and you start to understand what the whole history and where we're at now, there's fundamentals in place that bring that kind of valuation,
Also, the
but
secret
also
institutional money. The secret institutional money is where the crazy numbers come from. Because you're like talking about, like when I got into this space, right, which is not that long ago, whatever, I built a miner because Fidelity built the miner. And I was like, well, I'm doing whatever Fidelity's doing because, that's a good place to start. Now, my miner is sitting here collecting dust. That's fine because I did a bunch of other stuff and made me money. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was in at that point, I was looking into these things and I'm finding out that these big institutions were involved that time. Like a year and a half ago, these companies were already accumulating and in that kind of way to the point where they're setting up mining machines in some sort of warehouse that they own somewhere, And like, man, so now you got like some of that. It's like some of that is coming to light, like in the general sense. Now you got some of these kind of bigger investors saying like, "Nah, just joking. I've been had mad Bitcoin. You guys are late," and now you got random. Oh, PayPal. PayPal. I saw PayPal work with my own eyes. Right. Check this one out. I got a friend who I got involved with Decentraland like in the beginning. Right. So this dude like. He had a nice computer and stuff. I said, "You had a nice computer." Like, all right, he's interested in what I was talking about and stuff. Say, hey, set yourself up with Avatar. I think I set him and his son up. So hey, here's some mana, here's some ETH. Go get yourself an avatar and name and everything like that, right? He never sets any of that stuff up or whatever, right? Time passes, loses the keys, right? And so like I kind of like got frustrated with him. And we're really good friends, so like I got frustrated with him, and I still like talk shit to him sometimes. I'm like, yo, you still can't find those keys or whatever, I still got something to say to him all the time about it. But the other day, because PayPal put cryptocurrency on the thing, now all of a sudden he has cryptocurrency.
interesting.
So
I think
the psychology,
the big push now is definitely big companies, corporations, and VCs. They've been accumulating the Bitcoin this year, definitely. And what my impression is that this push to all-time highs now, it hasn't been fueled by retail so much. It's just large amounts just accumulating the Bitcoin. This is because it feels really different.
Yeah, so you see like
Time around.
if there is a retail kind of a hysteria, then what is that number? Where does that number end after the end of the hysteria? It's pretty. The projections are pretty crazy, and you start to understand. So I remember maybe last year, and hearing 50,000 projections, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I can see 50,000 for the end of the month, like the way things are going. Like it's just crazy, just like you never know because the way things go, the way people's psychology works, it's not what you think. And that's what I always say, like the joke, like the logic's in the code, man. Like Ain't nobody logical in the market, man. They're just going crazy, like just trying to get money off of whatever. You know, they want their money tomorrow. You know, and that's why people sell too like that, because they want their money today. You know.
Sure. Also, I think it's psychological because once you start to normalize a certain price point, like let's say 20K Bitcoin, when it starts to settle around that valuation and higher,
Mm-hmm.
to normalize that price. Just like we integrated the 10K Bitcoin, we were like accumulating for a long time at 10K and so on and so forth. So I find this interesting how prices get normalized, and it's going to be the same for Ethereum as well. It's going to be interesting to see the valuation of Ethereum going forward.
Yep.
Now I think we passed 500.
Yeah, and we're talking about prices that we ain't seen since before I was even involved in crypto, and that's when you look at that chart. I was joking with Anorak the other day. I put up the weekly of Ethereum, and I said that looks exactly like that the market cycle of the Wall Street cheat sheet. You know what I'm talking about? And where
What?
the Wall Street cheat sheet, the cycles of the psychology of a market cycle. You ever seen that chart?
Okay. Ah, yeah.
So it gives you like the anxiety, and you're feeling great and whatever. It has all these feelings and it written out why. And I was saying like the weekly chart literally looks like that right now. And he was joking with me. He's like, "Man, get that chart out of here." But it's a joke. But it's kind of like it does play that. So if we're at the beginning of a new cycle with ETH, then 500 is the beginning of that new cycle, which is a crazy thing to think about when it was at like 1,400 before highs or something like that, right? And what it could just do to that number, like with ETH, and it's how many people use ETH and how. I mean, we all use ETH every day. We all literally are operating on it with stupid gas prices. I'm still making transactions if I have to. Like we deal with it, and if it gets better.
The protocol for staking is coming soon. For Ethereum, I think this is driving a lot of people into the space, and also it's pushing the prices higher because I think the staking is going to be a very big thing for the space. Shifting from miners to stakers.
Mm-hmm.
Running a node or providing the Ethereum, to a node to get rewards. It's a completely different ball game. So it's going to be quite interesting to see that shift, this transition into next year, and seeing how the F protocol is going to implement the staking. But it looks like they're pretty much on track.
Yeah.
Right?
If the thing can bring down gas prices like it's supposed to, that it would just be incredible for the NFT space. Like if we can really be getting gas prices like from before, oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Like I got so many offers. So from back in the day when we were going crazy on the wearable market, I have all these crazy low offers that I was putting on people's stuff. So it's like probably more than 100. Of just random offers I was putting on people's stuff, which was probably like a penny at the time for me to do. Now, to take them down was like $5 each, and so I can't take them down. It's hilarious. So I'm waiting for some sort of solution.
Let's see how it goes. I think the user base is growing for sure.
Yeah. It's pretty wild to watch the whole growth here. So we'll see what it turns out to be. I'm not gonna really I'm not gonna go crazy one way or the other, but I get the idea that the crazy upside on that. Just look at that chart, that weekly chart, man. Zoom that thing out. Like what's left for it to do? It already did like this for like a year, 2 years or something. Like 2 years or just like this.
Yeah.
I get the feeling something's going on, That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so that's kind of my views on that there, I guess. NFT world, what do you thinking is the next level for NFT world?
I mean, for the art market or for the general NFT space, I think it's there is a more and more applications for the NFTs. You see it left and right. I think it's a space now of experimentation. Very much. You have a lot of different types of experimentations with what could an NFT bring to the table. I think digitizing art was a good step, but you start to see in the for example, with Surgar Club, I'm minting VIP passes. I can code it so that people have access to the upper levels of the club. This has been for me a great way to monetize a little bit my club. So and I think I don't know the name. Is it like something with pineapples?
Meme?
Pineapple meme?
Meme coin?
Yeah, it's like isn't it like a project where the NFTs can be staked or something about
so
merging DeFi?
You have the coin, and you can stake the coin, or you can stake the liquidity for the coin, and they give you back pineapples. And the pineapples, you can buy NFTs with the pineapples, and that's basically how it works. Yeah, I got me a couple pineapples. I got a couple pineapples brewing.
That would be an interesting thing. What would happen? And I think, what was the name of it? Yamaguchi or something similar to that. A project that actually stakes NFTs, where instead of providing liquidity with. Okay.
Yeah,
Yamaguchi
I would like to know about that. I got some NFTs that I could stake. We were talking about I was talking with somebody about something recently, like some sort of like let's say for DCL, like a wearables like pool that some sort of staking was like, so like let's say you staked your mana and then these prizes were available to you. I stake my NFT, and then for some reason if somebody wants, let's say, my NFT out in that pool, then I get like some sort of reward the other way. But I'm not at all smart enough to figure that out. That's as deep as I go in that idea. But
there's also now I start to see projects really considering the NFT as really a digital asset, just like a crypto, and then getting a loan as collateral. So you kind of collateralize your NFTs, you get crypto in exchange, so you get liquidity from your NFTs.
There we go. See, somebody's way smart. They're like 10 steps ahead of me on that one. Yep, that's the move. So you can just like bundle up. Let's say you could bundle up. I could bundle up all my DCL wearables and be like, okay, cool. I want $14 million for this, and then yeah, that's great. That's gonna be my future right there, I think. Another thing
in terms of you were asking in terms of NFT creation.
Yeah.
So I'm working on I'm kind of working on an idea where I would like to create a series of NFT artworks. But instead of creating, you create an artwork and then you create another artwork, and somehow they are related aesthetically, but they are not really connected. I'm looking into creating a sort of mini Sugar Genesis story where each NFTs would tell a mini story, but they all would interact with one another in terms of a narrative. So to actually collect those NFTs, you would collect fragments of a bigger or larger picture or a larger work, or
you can make this a video. It could be gifts that work into each other, like a comic books.
Yeah, not necessarily in a linear fashion, but like if you imagine, for example, Blade Runner, the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Blade Runner, or you take a sci-fi movie, and then you could kind of collect NFTs, video works that would be snapshots of that movie from different angles, telling a different story, but they're all connected to the same narrative, which is, in that case, the movie itself. So I'm looking at kind of creating Sugar Genesis of the future. So some kind of like cyberpunk, futuristic environment where Sugar Club would exist, and there would be characters there, and there would be interactions, and there would be music and clubs, and there would be a city. Kind of trying to envision what that would be, and then making some series connected to that. So the first piece, which I shared with you, the Unknown Origin.
Yeah. No. Because I'm just trying to pull up my my inbox here. There we go. Somewhere there it is. Oh, that's me.
Have it? No? I have it here on.
There we go.
I have it on Instagram.
So that's it right there. I got it up on the screen. Okay. Okay.
That the idea is that this Surgar Genesis would be the first of a series experimenting with that narrative, so that each piece would be connected to a larger virtual universe where Sugar Genesis would exist in a kind of hypothetical future, cyberpunk setting. So that's kind of an idea, So I'm just kind of playing around with this and seeing how this would unfold, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like the idea. I can see it. It's funny because when you say it, I'm like, you're describing Decentraland in the future, and then just having an avatar walk through Decentraland and tell the story. But we're not there yet, so you can't walk through the woods because that's like the woods, So it's like if you had a ton of neighbors and then there was all kinds of crazy shit going on around you, you could tell that story right live in Decentraland with some background music and some video editing, That's funny.
Yes, and also another thing that I've been working on in parallel with MetaZone. We talked a bit about it. They have this new game, right? The Corona Zombies game, the shooters game.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Will about building some weapons, sugar weapons for this. So I have a prototype, and we're in discussion how this could be incorporated within the game. They want to have really a selection of different types of weapons. They want to also create NFTs out of them and upgrade those weapons in the gameplay and so on. So we're looking into how.
Since we're here and we're talking about it, right? And I think Will's here. Let's just talk about it, Will. What if we're shooting sugar cubes that explode into pixie dust? Just saying, Will.
Yeah, man.
Just saying, let's do it like sugar grenades, like, That was literally the first call. Kay sent me a message, and I was like, that was the first thing I was like, yo, they should shoot sugar cubes, like. Oh man.
So let me show you. If I do screen sharing, I can. 1 second.
Screen share, sir. I think you just gotta press the screen share button.
Entire screen.
There we go. It'd be so funny, like somebody, the boss, and let's say that, the bosses get crazier and stuff, and then, it's maybe like a difficult thing to have the sugar gun, and then you like see somebody that comes through with the sugar gun, he's like a hero, like, oh God, somebody with a sugar gun, we're gonna kill the boss. I can see it. I'm envisioning it right now. I don't know, it's having a hard time loading it, but maybe, hey, there we go, we're good. There it is.
Okay.
Let me get it full screen. Okay.
Yes.
Look at that thing. Pow. That's gotta be.
I don't know if it's clear for you.
I can see it pretty good. It's not as clear as it is normally for me on my screen, but yeah.
Okay.
You guys see?
Yeah. So basically, this is the first prototype, and then we'll see how to take it further.
Super cool idea. It's a great way to integrate with other people from the community and guys that we've all kind of been friends and working together for a while. So that's super cool, and I was excited to see that when that kind of came up. A similar thing happened yesterday when we were doing a stream for the Block Leads game. Me and I agree from time to time to do streams with these guys, and they came out with a character that George Boya designed. So one of their golfers now looks like a George Boya piece, you know? Really cool. You know, same idea when you have collaborators from the same space, you know, and then just kind of mix them, and it made sense, you know?
Okay.
I think that's where we're going. Another thing I wanted to bring up to you real quick is something I heard about the other day, and it blew my mind so much, because I think that, like, we really, not today, not next year maybe, but, like, sooner probably than you think. I heard about blockchain AI. Have you heard of this?
Chain what?
Blockchain artificial intelligence.
Okay, what is it?
So, like, it's kind of like if you have a learning robot, you know, that learns from the information it takes in, then it can place it on the blockchain, and it can, like, all that information can be stored and, like, remembered. So it can remember what it learned from this time and continue. And so, like, in pieces, it can learn even more because, you know, that's on the blockchain. Other AI's information will be on the same blockchain, and that can be accessed, you know. So what they were saying was that with blockchain AI, you'd be able to store, like, people's personalities eventually, right? And so my thought process was, would a place like Decentraland end up being a place where you have like people's personalities that, like, may not exist anymore? But you have, like, an avatar of the person that, you know, just your mom or, you know, something like that, you know?
Mm.
This is like a concept that came to me, and I was just like, that's crazy. Like, I never even knew about it before I seen whatever video it was that told me about blockchain AI, you know? It works.
Yeah, I think we don't even know what it's gonna be in a couple of years.
Evil Forks is like evil Franky and, like, you know, good Franky, you know. Oh man, that's too much. I don't know if you saw that.
So
he said, "What if it forks?" You know.
I think on the event page, I mentioned that I want to distribute one VIP pass.
Oh, it's giveaway time.
So the way to win it, I guess, is for anyone who's at the club at the moment. Just after we're done talking, you can go downstairs. There is a link to the guest book, and you can just drop your Ethereum address, maybe leave a comment, and then I'll make a selection, a random selection, and then a winner will be distributed a VIP pass.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And then,
nice.
Do you know when you're gonna announce that?
The guest book is at the entrance of the dancing hall, so in between the gallery and I'll show it. It's pretty easy to find.
All right, cool.
Upstairs.
And you said you're gonna get some music going. You got the DJ setup ready?
I mean, I need to set it up, but I can mix a few tracks. At least try, you know, if there's no technical difficulties, and try.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, some of those tracks I'm going to play next week. It's an event in Crypto Voxels. The DAO Records is organizing it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an event with Moonby Science. They're an electronic music band from Europe, and they're releasing a new album. So they're going to be featuring their new music for the first hour. The second hour, I will DJ sets, and that's going to be the 27th, I believe. So next week.
Okay.
Crypto Voxels.
Nice. Well, that's what it is then. Where is the DJ setup? Is it here? Is this?
Okay, so I think you're gonna have to go downstairs.
You gotta go downstairs.
Everybody can go down, and then just give me a minute to put it on, and then start streaming. And maybe you need to refresh, but maybe not. Maybe it can start playing by itself.
All right, nice. I'm gonna go to the logo picture. We're gonna finish up here. Thank you so much, man. Like, always so fun talking with you. I can talk with you for hours. Like, we were talking for 20 minutes before this. We can keep going on. Um, you know, feel free to hit me up for anything if you know, like, you know what it is. If you need anything, I'll find my way. Appreciate you guys for stopping by as always. You know, I'm doing this every Friday from now on. I believe next week I'm going to be talking to Neurominter, who I probably will have a surprise for at that time. So it's going to be pretty cool. Okay, any last words?
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. All right, take it easy, guys.